Welcome in everybody. Hello. I'm going to be flying in the C90B today, the King Air, in a freeware modification, the Evolution mod for the aircraft, in a free livery, the Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta livery, which is the Scottish ambulance service. And I thought it would be very cool to introduce this livery and this sort of mission focused flight to the channel. We have a little bit of a trip today. It is a little bit gloomy out here up in the north of Scotland, but we have a mission and we actually have a good little plan to fly to a few places and then return here to Aberdeen Dice Airport later on. So the initial plan today will be to take this beautiful plane in the Scottish Ambulance Service livery, which we've been contracted out to fly. And by the way, guys, let me show you what the letter says. So let me bring this up for you. As you can see here, I've been contracted out by Gamma Aviation. They are in fact a operator of the King Air C90, and if we bring up let me bring it up for you. I'll close the letter for now and bring up the window. We can see here that they actually got awarded. Gamma Aviation actually awarded the SES ambulance service contract, and that's all been sorted. The route is plotted out on Sky Vectors. We'll go through that in a second, but the letter is a little bit interesting. So I had some struggle in finding this initially when I got here. Says that obviously, dear Grantham, we are writing acknowledge both receipt. So they've received my documentation, they've acknowledged who I am, and now I'm permitted to fly their King Air C90B from Aberdeen Airport, but they didn't say where, so I was kind of looking around for it. And then I've got to fulfill the obligations within the contract. So the contract today, and of course Gamma Aviation, thank you for sending that to me. That was very, very kind. To not put the parking space onto the aircraft. Anyway, so we'll be going from Aberdeen. Let me bring the flight plan up for you guys to see. And as you can see, we plot our route. So the initial plan is to fly from Aberdeen up to Inverness Airport, and when we get there we'll be dropping off medical supplies, and what we're going to be doing is picking up a specialist doctor and probably some other specialist supplies when we get there. Then we have to continue on to Wick Airport. Now Wick Airport is up here right in the north of Scotland, and this is where we're going to be picking up the patient, and this is where we're going to be getting a little bit more cautious, let's say. So we have got turbulence warnings in the first two legs from obviously Aberdeen, Inverness, and then Inverness to Wick. We can probably fly a little bit faster and a little bit higher if we want to. When we go back from Wick back to Aberdeen, when we transfer the patient, we're going to have to stay at probably 9,000 feet, and we're probably going to have to keep it relatively not too slow, but a little bit slower than what we would on the way there. And then when we transfer them back to Aberdeen Dice, where we are now, they'll get transferred off to Aberdeen Royal Hospital, and that'll be the mission complete. So what we're doing, we're tracking straight to Inverness with no waypoint or VOR, so it's just straight there. When we go to Wick, we have a sort of VOR DME thing there which we can track, and then when we return to this airport later on, we'll also be tracking the ADN for the Aberdeen Dice DME, I believe it is. I've checked the weather, so let's go through our weather briefing now and recap on it. I'll bring up my briefing sheet so you can see it, everybody. So aircraft type is confirmed, the C90. The contract is my picture's popping up. Contract is confirmed. The aircraft is confirmed as a C90. The flight plan is filed. We'll get this information soon. So weather is, as you can see, it's very northerly pushing. We're going to have a tailwind, I think, the majority of the trip, and then only when we come back from Wick to Aberdeen is actually probably going to be an issue there, and we'll probably come straight back into runway 16. So going back to the briefing, weather is checked. NOTAMs, there's nothing significant popping up. Now, fuel and payload, right. So for this beast, I've sort of come up with these calculations today for the C90B. Let me just close some of this other stuff so you can see it. C90B. So we've determined 1 hour of fuel. Now, if you look into the checklist that comes with the Evolution mod, it does say 280 kilograms an hour, which is the average fuel burn. So we've taken that amount as 1 hour's worth of fuel, and this trip will take us probably longer, so I've taken another hour of fuel on top. I've taken 50 nautical mile alternate, which is about 70 kg, 6 minutes of taxi, which is a little bit on the small side to be honest, but that's about 28, and then 40 minutes of climb fuel, which is 93 kilograms. So that's giving us our total fuel for the trip, and I wanted to wait till you guys join to put the total amount in. So let's calculate this together, shall we? So 280 plus 70 plus 28 plus 93. So we're looking at about 750 of fuel. We'll see how much we got on board already. And that is in kilograms today, guys. Remember, 30 minutes is the minimum requirement for VFR day, and we are kind of going VFR today. If we need to switch any instrument procedures, we can do, but 750 is what we got. We took an hour for the reserves, so we've basically taken 2 minimum requirements, so basically twice what we need on that. We have a little converter over there in case I need it. So that is our weather briefing, our flight plan briefing complete, our departure briefing, our flight plan is planned out. Mission is programmed in. The taxi route will be to 16, I think, today, and departure briefing will get on with that in the aircraft. So let's get on with the plane startup and things, and we'll do a checklist flight, I think. As you can see there, nice little stats on the C90B. Let's go into the back of this aircraft. It'll look a little bit odd in the back, very, very small. Great to be flying this. Really, really cool livery, actually. So we go down here. Let's get through some of these switches. Let's make sure everything is off. Let's call ground crew. So let's get a GPU on this thing. All the switches are off. Make sure everything is off on neutral. Everything is off on that side. All looking good. So everything is off. We're going to go for the checklist today. Just so you guys know, we're taking it seriously. So as you see, we've done the weight, fuel, and central gravity. So let's put the fuel in. If you recall from the quick calculation we just did, we need 750. Show you it on here again. 750 kg. And for pilots wise, all we've got going to initially to Inverness is just myself and a co-pilot, and then when we get there we'll be picking up some more people and of course more supplies, and then when we get to Wick we've got an extra person, which is the patient obviously. The aft baggage, there'll be some supplies already which we have on board. That'll change. We already have about 280 kg on board, so we've actually already got enough fuel here for the entire trip apparently, which is good. If we need to refuel, we can refuel in Wick, like I say, as needed. So let's get on with it. So weight, fuel is checked. IFS power is tested, then on.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Let's get ground power and battery on. There's the GPU, guys, turned up. And by the way, this is not the first time I tried this mission, so I've been flying this before, just to hear how it goes, and it does give the C90 and this, you know, Evo mod a bit more purpose. It certainly feels more purposeful, and it's something I want to bring into the channel actually. Let's get these lights on, emergency light, night lights as well. Left and right engine anti-ice. NG anti-ice, blimey. Fuel quantity, so let's check. It's saying it's quite a lot and we got enough, but on here it's not really where we want it to be, I don't think. Firewall valves, so these are down here on this C90 version. You can see we close them, we set the fuel pumps on, we do the cross feed, and we should really check the illumination at the same time. So annunciation, illumination, you can just about see it sometimes, but sometimes you also can't. Turn the fuel boost pumps off. Oh, we don't want to start the engine, blimey. So automatic on the cross feed, that's where I'm getting mixed up. We open that up and the fuel cross feed up here will go off. Then we put the fuel pumps on. Then we check the firewall valves, good. Extinguished or illuminated transfer pumps. Automatic test. Right, but assume that's done. Voltmeter, so voltmeter triple feed is good. Just check the ground power is connected, yes. Transfer pumps back off. Let's have fuel boost. This fuel boost on there, and then let's keep them on, I guess. For this one, right generator's good. We know that no power going to the system just at the moment, and so is the left one as well. Center's good. Annunciation lights. So these are down here. Big panel. They're all functional. Beacon light. Right, let's get our navigation on, guys. So navigation, and we'll put the recognition tail for today, along with the beacon light. So you notice there when we switch, flick the switch, it sounded like the GPU disconnected, but actually, yeah, I don't know why it does that. It just sounds like it does. Voltmeter external power is checked. External power is on. Props. Feathers, everything's cut off. Right, ignition, start switch. Right, so we're already on the start in, that can't be right, guys. That seems very quick. I guess that is it. That's literally the entirety of the before engine started. So I thought it was a bit more in depth than that, but it's quite quick. So let's get the firewall valves closed. Welcome in, Mike. And we'll continue with this. So before engine start, go to the right ignition one, didn't we? Right, I guess we're clear to start. So clear prop. We can't open the window. Wait for this sort of thing to rise. As you can see, it's risen. We're going to put that into low idle. Keep our eye on the ITT so we don't get a hot start. And above 51%, as you can see there, we introduce the propeller. Good, so no hot start on that engine. Ignition switch off. Let's stick the headset on. And check the volume for you guys. I want you all to hear what is going on. Maybe about there should be good. If you can't hear it, then let me know. Right, so ignition off. We've just turned the... It doesn't actually say it there. So right, ignition off, and then it wants us to go straight to the left one. So I guess we stick the generators until both is turned on. Anyway, left engine's coming alive. Wait till 12% for that to start up, and then we introduce to a low idle on the fuel. And by the way, it comes with this EFB, this EVA mod. It's absolutely brilliant. Drops full forward. Just wait for this to come alive a little bit. There we go. So very quick, actually, very quick startup compared to the 350. So ignition off. Cabin door, right, let's go and close that. Keep the checklist open for you. Just me and the pilot today until we get to there, and then we'll get the patient transferred and things. So we're going to be kind of light on takeoff. External door is closed. Cabin door, we'll leave it open. Dismiss the GPU. Get down there for the ground power disconnect. Right, so here, have I missed generator on here somewhere? No, right, generator's there. So we hold it on to reset, 1, 2, and then we do the same thing on the left side. So 1, 2, and then the same thing on the right again. Then we can go up here and just confirm we have in fact got positive DC loads, and you want to check this across all of them, because if there is a fluctuation, and it can happen, you can have a lot of load in the DC on the right and none on the left, which means the reset hasn't worked on the generators. You have to redo it. Okay, so fuel transfer pumps come into automatic. Fuel cross feed valve is open. Generator tyres. Let's get rid of this again. Open on that. Generator tyres illuminated. Yes. 23 volts. We've measured the DC already. Let's double check it again. The checklist wants usually you to check this sort of stuff a lot, and I think they could have come up with a bit more of an efficient flow on this. Left and right generators are checked. All that's checked pretty much within 10%. Good. Emergency lights. We'll just crank the cockpit lights up ourselves. Let's go bright on these. All lights bright today, guys. It is dark. I can't really see anything even though the master light is turned on. Nothing is illuminating up there. Okay, and then manual close. There we go. Manual close turns them back on. Bus sensor switch reset. So test and then reset. IFIS power is on. That's down here. Rudder boost, elevator trim, IFIS power. Going to be going up to 9,000 feet, so we don't really need to pressurise on this departure now. We will be pressurising probably never during this journey today. Inverters, so inverters are down here again. There's only one on this plane, it's odd. Avionics master switch coming on. Okay, taxis coming on, so the taxi lights and never lights are already on. We've got the recognition and tail floods. Cabin temperature mode, we don't need that on. We don't need to move the seatbelt signs on at the moment. And then vacuum pressure is on the co-pilot side, so just down here we have positive on both. And you will notice fluctuations in this sort of stuff. Let's get the co-pilot air on as well. I'm going to skip some items because I already know them, so it's kind of like just a case of ticking them off, I guess. Trim check. Flap lever, fall down before we taxi. Fuel pumps and crossfeed off. Fuel crossfeed automatic. Right, fuel pump off. Fuel pump on. Right, fuel crossfeed. I think we leave that off. So yeah, and then the automatic thing on that one. That's cool. Flaps. Let's confirm on the exterior check. Great looking aircraft, it really is. So we got one here for the first flight of the day. Now this is for, you know, pre-flight checks and bleed air valves down to, bleed air for the cabin goes to -1, and then we do like a test there where we check it, but I can't remember if it has it on this. Doesn't seem to be one there. They got test on there. Let's try that. Test. Not really any movement, so it doesn't work like the 350, but it certainly does include it on there. Anyway, we'll go back to 0 on that. Keep it at 0 for now. Going to be a rough departure, everybody. So cabin conditions secure, condition levers high idle. We're going to skip this actually because this is not the first flight of the day. This is all the pre-flight for the first flight of the day, and I have done this before. Avionics briefing complete. All that's good. We're going to do a heading select. I'm going to go on a course of 1-6 today for departure for the runway. And then we'll do that left-hand turn to Inverness Airport. Altitude. Once this is select altitudes, I have said 9,000 feet. We'll try it and see what happens. Flight controls. Free and correct. Trim is neutralized. Taxi power levers ground fine again. Parking brake gyros check. Parking brake. Okay, cool. So let's get taxi in. As I say, we'll do a quick briefing here just to recap on what what our actual plan is. So taxi route is the next one after departure briefing. As I say, we're just going to do a straight out departure towards Inverness. We're going to use that display map here. So it looks like we'll be going down Echo, and then we'll pass runway 2318 and hold short runway 16 via Echo. So that's the pre-taxi briefing complete. Expected issues so far, just the weather. Let's get going. Let me just tune this, guys, because the rudder's all over the place, so I don't know why I don't know why I have to do this every single time. You will have to, I've had to tune this every time I use it, because otherwise it'll spawn in and it'll be super sensitive. And I don't know what's causing it, so I have to do this sort of calibration every time I turn the game on. It can be a little bit of a pain. Let's put it into beta. Beta's good for ground firing operations, so keeping it a little bit slower, otherwise you're going to run away and struggle, I think. Even now on low idle, it's really pulling away from me. It's a super fast plane. Let's get Mode Charlie on the transponder. Okay, we're crossing the runway. Let's get the strobes on. It's not an active runway, but I still want to keep it on. And let's give the ATC a call. So we should be on Honeycomb. Aberdeen Dice Airport, Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta, crossing runway 23, continuing to runway 16 via Alpha Echo. Balls up on that. This is why it's good to have a co-pilot. Okay, so we do need to get that DOR and the VOR thing, not DOR, the VOR DME thing for the next airport at Inverness. And then of course we'll get the next one for Wick off of the charts we've planned out as well, and we'll tune those in. And I will in fact tune Aberdeen in as well, and we'll use that as a reference to fly away from on the departure flight here. Okay, trying to get an external shot, but it's not working. Let's bring up the runway threshold, so we'll do those in the set. We'll keep that open. We'll go through our pre-takeoff briefing. And when we do the pre-takeoff briefing, everyone, because we've calculated the fuel for the entire trip and things like that, and we plan the route out, we'll do the briefing as if this is our you know, main briefing for the entire flight. So let's go here, auto ignition to armed. Auto forever to arm as well. Cabin pressurization. Again, we don't need it at 9,000 feet cruise. Engine anti-ice is on already. Lead air valve. So this will be for the cabin. We do need this on. We want to keep it at least semi decent for when when we pick up the people at Inverness and then Wick, of course. Elevator trim neutralized, set for takeoff. Flaps. We're going to go for 1 notch of flaps today. Just about to see them moving. So flaps are set to what we need them. Automatic prop sync. So prop sync is strange because on the King Air 350 we'd actually have prop sync on takeoff, but on the C90, I understand it's a smaller plane, but you know, still. Besides, we need to get the ACE information, so altimeter. Let's get it off the airport. 1002. And we don't need standard pressure at all today, I don't think. We're probably going to be alright. Transition 6, so we'll wait and see what happens. Autopilot altitude alert is clear, there's nothing popping up on there. Autopilot altitude is cleared, altitude set, stall warning heat on, pitot heats, fuel vent heats coming on. We don't need prop de-ice because there's no ice conditions. There is going to be turbulence though. Landing lights on. And transponder, we're going to put that onto altitude mode. Of course, you can see here some limitations. 1900 RPM max. Fuel crossfeed, why is that on? Just get rid of that illumination, guys. Oh my goodness. That's why, because that's on automatic. Power levers, yeah, so 15, 20 on the torques, about there, just below the red line, and the same on the props. The props will probably go up to the maximum one, so about 1900, so it looked like it's overspeeding. Most of them are just concerned with the ITT and the torque. As long as they're within limits, that's absolutely fine. We don't want the propeller to be running away there and causing damage to the side of the plane. It might, you know, I've never seen it happen, but yeah, it might disconnect and just start flying off on its own. Left and right auto feathers. It says they should be illuminated at more than N1, 90%. Let's just check that on the wonder what we'll put the key as beta phase. Let's just check that for the 90%. Yeah, so auto feather goes off. Ignition goes off. What about auto feather? Let's try that. Yeah. Okay, so actually there's a good reference as well. I'm getting a bit sidetracked because I want to make sure we're all prepared for this flight. So 101 is probably the best angle of climb, then 118 is the best rate. So we'll be taking 118 to account for the wind. According to the map we've looked at, and according to X-Plane, the wind is, of course, you know, pretty strong. Plus we've got the turbulence warning. Let's go ahead and do what we did on the flight plan and tune that in before we get going, because otherwise we're going to forget to do it. So we want our sky vectors, and we want the first of all we want the wick, because that's where we're going to be going to second, even though yeah, it's going to be the second stop. So we want 113.6, which is already conveniently tuned in, and then we need the ADN for the return trip, but also for the departure turnout as well. So we go back down to Aberdeen, that is 114.3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fly away from that thing, and let's see, can we turn that? So about that direction when we take off, we'll do a 16 takeoff, and then we'll go round and head to about 340 on the course, and then we'll track for the navigation 2. So when we need to, we will switch over to that. I'm assuming this is going to display on here somewhere. So probably down here if we select. There's a way to change it, and you can select it to. There it is, course select. VWAR GPS. So let's leave on VWAR. It doesn't look like we can change it on that one. VWAR 1 ADF. Right, we'll just have to do it manually, I guess, and tune it manually. Let's go ahead and put that on the standby then, 136. And we'll get rid of it on there. Cool. I think Gamma Aviation also has the call sign of Gamma, so we're not going to be using that today. We're going as Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta, real aircraft by the way, real King Air that flies from Aberdeen, which is where the Gamma is based for these kind of operations for the Scottish Ambulance Service. Runway is clear, this is 18, not runway 16, so let's give them a call out. Aberdeen traffic goes Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta, departing runway 16 to the north. Taxiing is all over with his rudder pedals. It's got to be something with the TFRP pedals that's causing this. Unless the game is not saving the settings, but it just seems to come back so sensitive. Just double check the weight and balance. So we are going to need to refuel. We did burn about 20 on the ground already, which is quite a lot. CFG is in the centre. Mixture's full rich, props fully forward, landing lights on. Advancing the torque. Takeoff thrust is set. There's 100 and rotate. Really getting pushed around there. The aircraft's sort of drifting across the runway a little bit. Anyway, gear coming up. Strange behaviour. To keep it about, as we say, what's the climb out speed again? 118. We'll add a few more knots into that for the wind, so about the speed is good. Let's get the checklist and do that. So landing gear is up. Let's get the landing lights off. Text lights off already. Propellers, so we're going to leave them where they are. We'll leave them full forward for the climb. Prop sync can come on now. Engine anti-ice is required. So I can't remember where the indication is in this thing for the temperature. I have seen it. Ah, there it is, right in front of me. So 2 degrees. It is still pretty clear here and out at Aberdeen, but we're going to go ahead and leave the anti-ice on. We'll leave the ice off. Windshield heat. Usually we'd have that on before you even take off, so that's very odd, isn't it? Torque, maximum, so we'll keep an eye on the torque as we climb. Yes, all this is good. Yaw damper coming on. And we turn those off at 10,000 feet. We're not going above 10,000, so we probably need to keep all the lights on today as we head up to Inverness. Climbing well. As you say, we're going to do that turn out now. We're going to follow the opposite direction to the Aberdeen VOR, so that will give us the track then. In terms of getting to Inverness, there's not actually any navigation, so we could use the GPS, which you know, we should really program on the ground if we're going to. But if we go back onto Sky Vectors, we have a general course here of about 290. So let's head on a course of 290. We'll set our heading to it as well. So about that direction. As you can see, we've done a nice little loop there. Almost. I think, are the instruments messed up, or am I tripping balls or something? Because 290 is seems like the wrong direction. Jesus, look at that ice on the wind, on the wiper there. Insane. Either way, we're doing well. We're going to do that turn now, and I hope the aircraft gets on course. We'll also set a course in that direction with the green arrow. Let's get our autopilot into vertical speed mode. And I'm going to turn the autopilot on any second now. I just want to get through this weather. But yeah, that is a bit of concern, guys. This ice build-up outside, one of the few planes that actually simulates it and shows you, and that's the Evo mod. Really bringing it to life. So let's get the prop ice on. Leave everything else as it is. On course for the direction to Inverness. Autopilot coming on. And 1,000 feet to go to 9,000. Use this again. I don't really want to use the GPS, but we can do just as a reference here for the airport, because there's no other waypoint otherwise. Echo Golf. What is it again? Papa Hotel, is it? Papa Echo? Inverness. So we're on the right course. So it turns out Sky Vectors is actually more accurate than SimBrief in many regards. Just everything about it is better, and also you can. One of the things I love for these kind of missions is if you go onto it, you can actually plan for IFR procedures. So if you want to do an IFR procedure here, maybe there's an ILS. So if we click on Inverness Airport, let's just close that. That's the information on the weather, by the way. So as you can see, Inverness, and then if we click on plan, well, you can add it to plan, or if you click on Inverness, there's a way to do it, guys, and I'm messing it up. This will give you the weather for the area as well. I can't remember how to do it for some reason. So there's a way you can click on it, and then it will bring up charts for the airport that you're going to, and it will show you ILS approaches, and it's the up-to-date charts, Jefferson, etc. Anyway, 9,000 feet. Let's get our cruise checklist. So cruise power, we've actually got a good amount of power at the moment. Let's go ahead and reduce those propellers to about 16, as it says on the checklist. Reduce the propellers, and then the torque won't exceed limits, hopefully. Drops down here, so we're bringing them back to about 1650. Torque still within range. Auto feather is off. Okay, ITT, everything's good on there. Cabin pressure is, again, we're not pressurized, we're about 9,000, that should be comfortable. The differential's normal. And then we have checklist. So here again, more speed, more references for things that you might not understand. So ILS, glide slope, approach, LPV approaches as well, which is cool. Windshield heats. Okay everyone, I've just seen on Sky Vectors they have in fact got, let me just show you what I've just found. So they have in fact got an INS there, so it's not visible on here, that's just saying tower, but if you click on it, you see Inverness 1092, so we're going to track that towards the airport. 1092. Really good old school navigation. Yes, INS has popped up. We're going to use that as a reference, and we'll base the airports and the runway landing on, it says standard pressure, on the wind direction, of course. So as you can see, it's moving northeast, according to this anyway, so we'll probably be coming in whatever runway it is there. Let's have a look on the map down here. So Inverness Airport. Probably whatever this runway here is. Trying to plan the arrival now so we don't get any issues. I've had issues finding the airport before. It can be a little bit tricky. We have the Rimmel there, whatever that is. Let's just click on this and see what's available. So gives you the frequencies. Runway length is good. Ah, there we go. IFR charts, VFR charts. So let's try the IFR charts. Rimmel is the one we're tracking, I think. Saying INS, it just doesn't appear as I would expect it. Yeah, so we'll come in and we'll do that right turn and come in to that runway there, and it still still won't show you what runway it is for some reason. Runway 23, we use the cheat mode, everybody. Cheat mode activated. Let's check what we got on procedures on this thing for the arrivals. Approach, runway 23. Ah, we have got an ILS. Let's do vectors, and we'll see how that goes for the arrival. We're not got a long till we get there. QNH 999. So we're coming direct arrivals from the VOR to runway 23. This is good. Category A and B. This is indeed for our kind of plane. We've also got the ILS DME, which is also something we're kind of doing as well. So we'll go for that one. 4,000 feet down to the DME. We're not going to do any turnarounds today. We're just going to go straight there. And what he wants you to do is fly there and then do the outbound course on the, you know, RO39s, the radial 39, and then come back in for the final. ILS is 108.5. Let's tune the ILS in, 108. A little bit of both today, a little bit of the IFR and VFR rules, but we're not VFR at the moment because we're in 9C. So we'll come in and we'll skip that then, and we'll have to skip the posh ILS procedures and just do it straight in. So here's the sort of DME arc. It's not simple arrivals into Inverness, that's for sure. Well, we're coming from this sort of way anyway, so we'll come in and then we'll just skip all of that, guys, and do a direct approach, I think, however we see fit. Basically, we're going to do it like when you're flying a visual approach. Increase that speed a bit, so I'm going to push the torque right up now. It's kind of where its limit is, so it's almost at its limit. A little bit on the right side. Prop sync is on, but it's not doing a very good job of it. Still within limitations, we kind of want to increase the speed. The max speed at this altitude, as you can see, is about 225. DME equipment is down here, so if we power this on, this should give us the, usually in like other kind of planes it would give us the speed as well. In this case it's just giving us the, there's the speed, everybody, it's just giving us the distance and speed and the minutes to get there, so that's very, very useful. The cruise, apparently this thing can go up to 245, but I doubt it, it just doesn't seem like it. Anyway, VOR, let's get that on, and that'll be the INS, and then the second one will be for, of course, Wick Airport. Apologies everybody, Sky Vectors on there again. 136. 1143 on there. Yeah, it's the strong winds and clouds and all the rest of it. It's this ice build-up out here that's obviously being cool effect. And it's one of the few planes that will tell you when you've actually got ice building up on it. So I want people to do that in the future with add-ons. We may as well start descending already. We're going to bring that torque way back now. And we'll go down to about 4,000 feet for the approach. Altitude selects. If you pre-selected everybody, that will help the aircraft level off when you get to that altitude. As you can see, the course is changing for the INS. We want to keep that slightly off to our left hand side because we're going to be going in. So runway 23, so we need to be going at sort of an angle here. Let's do an outbound course first. Plus we got the indication up here if we need it. Yeah, there's the ice on the wings, guys. So even though we've not got any icing conditions, warning of icing conditions, because we're in cloud and it's freezing, by the way. So if you look on the iOS, very, very cold. So this white formation here is in fact the ice forming, and it will form on the front of the engines as well. I don't know if you can see it down there, but it is kind of getting white on the tip a little bit, and out on the boot press. So let's go ahead and de-ice the boots. Single cycle, and you see that melt off. There it goes. This thing here can't be melted off on the obviously the wipers, but it can be wiped and melted off the windshield with the heat there. Brilliant. So descended 4,000 for 2-3. Let's get our descent checklist up. So checks. See approach signs. Propeller sync come off, so we'll turn that off when we get down to 4,000. Right, we have visual, then we'll turn the auto feather on to, let's turn that on arm now. Let's turn the prop sync off now as well. Decision height, so that's down here guys, it will say DH on it. Whether or not you want to set it or not, that's entirely up to you. So we'll set, for this one today, we're going to set about 200 feet. Quite a lot of turning to get it there. 200 feet set. I forgot as well, we can also use this for the Avi tablet. Everyone keep your eye out for Inverness Airport. There's an airport over there, and something that looks like an airport. That's Kinloss. So we're going to be parallel, diagonal to Inverness soon. Let's go ahead and adjust the course. Propeller levers will be full forward. Let's go ahead and just push them there now. And keep the torque where it is. Approach flaps at 184, so you can see on here we've got a little marker for where we dropped the first notch. And I think the blue line is the maximum gear up speed. Because the maximum gear down speed is about 182. Flaps will be down approach and landing. We know all that checklist stuff by heart. You can probably skip that now, so that's just generally the basic checklist comes with it, but it is very, very good for what you get. There's 1,000 feet to go. Look at that. Absolutely brutal. This really is a great plane, everybody. Let's go ahead and are we leveling off? Yes. Increase the speed a little bit. The torque a bit. But yeah, the front of the plane and the aircraft in general looks so much better. Even this slight change on the seats is a lot better than the default one. I just can't get over how bad the default one was, to be honest. It could have used a lot more love and improvement. I think that's one of the big issues of X-Plane. It doesn't really bring anything new to the table. It doesn't really bring any new aircraft. It just seems to transfer them from older versions. And they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be bringing a new aircraft every time. I've had a look at Microsoft again, and they do in fact include a 350. I don't know if we can get a specific one like this, the mission-focused aircraft with, you know, Scottish Ambulance Service today, but I'm definitely considering it seriously just because of the variety of planes on it. Okay, we're almost there, guys. So we have, according to this, 12 nautical miles. We're going to get slowed down a little bit more. 1,000 feet, and I'll do a hand-flown approach. It is VFR. Kind of VFR. I'd say it's covered, maybe minimum VFR, actually. Over the airport, looks a little bit gloomier. Mid lights on. We'll leave the anti-ice on for now. It's 0 degrees. We have had ice formation. Let's go ahead and put the ILS on. So 108.5. Now you can get the course, everybody, from the charts. If you go down into the approach, you can choose any of them as long as it shows the runway. I was going to say any of them that has like a precision approach on it, and it will give you the course of the runway. So we need a course here of 231, and we'll keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and turn it to 231, and you can see on there in the GPS as well, it's also popped up, and we'll only use this for this sort of leg today as a reference. We're not actually doing an ILS. Let's bring the speed down a little bit more. Taking control of the plane. Prop sync off, landing lights on. What's with other arms? Prop mixture's fully rich. Aircraft feels a little bit on the heavy side as well when it's hand flown. Let's get approach flaps in. And we need the Q&H. NDB there, 999, so it is the same as the charts. 999 on there. Course set to runway 23. There's a runway straight ahead. Brilliant. So that's some good old-fashioned VOR combined with GPS navigation. Love it. And that prop right back. Aircraft has the tendency as well to steer off to the right hand side, it seems. Let's bring that way back. And by the way, everybody, last night I want to make a film on it. Not a film, a short video on my top 5 favourite pilot and aircraft focused films, or the top 5 that I think are worthy of being in it. Last night I watched something called A Wing and a Prayer starring Dennis Quaid, and you know what, it's actually pretty good. I didn't realise, but the thing is based on a real story. It's about a guy who's taking a corporate private jet. He's not even a pilot. He's a passenger, and he's a really bad pilot because he had a... Anyway, I'm not going to go into it. So he got into the plane for the private charter, and then the pilot is incapacitated, and he has to land this King Air. I think it's a King Air 200 in the film. But he lands the King Air 200, and then he goes on to have a successful career as a pilot. I just thought it was a great story. It's called On a Wing and a Prayer, and I watched it on the Amazon Prime. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna make a video of my top 5 favourites, and I will include that as one of these sort of bonus films. As you can see, though, it descended very steeply. So yeah, it was interesting, and I'd like to make a video on those, and hopefully you like it too. Okay, we're about getting towards the final. We have 3.5 nautical miles. We're full flaps. We are green lights on the gear. Inverness traffic Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta. Final runway 23. So approach speed in this is not. It's not obvious what it actually is. So you have to do a little bit of guesswork. It's saying here these are for the limitations, but it doesn't actually give you a landing speed. Apparently you need your damper off. Let's kick that off. And then autopilot is off as well. Brilliant. By the way, I didn't mention it, but we did in fact depart from Gamma Aviation at Aberdeen Dice. That was their sort of base there where we were parked. I'm not sure they've got one here. I don't think they have. They're based down in South anyway, in Farnborough. Okay, we're well too high for this approach. This should be a go round by now. King Air just has so much power to it. Taking into account the cross with a headwind there, about 10 knots. It's going to slow us down.
Minimums.
It will continue, some minimums about 200 feet. Speed should start to bleed off a little bit now, and we'll maintain that. Again, requiring a lot of aileron input.
50.
Okay, we're down. Brilliant. It does want to veer off to the right side for some reason, so I'll calibrate my controls again. Anyway, let's continue to the end. Let's get the props into low idle. We'll get this into beta as well. Cool, so welcome here to Inverness, everybody. We're going to stick our taxi lights. Do we have the... No, we didn't have the pilot air. But it does have a sound effect at least. And you can hear the air coming through. Okay, we're going to take a right hand turn at the end. This is the only place, and we're probably going to park. I don't know if that's going to be suitable. Maybe down there where the GA is, and we'll get those passengers on board, ready for our final mission. I'm quite nervous about the Wick landing, to be honest. This has not been too bad, but the handling today is well off to what I'm used to. So temperamental today. Hopefully when the load increases, the handling will improve as well. We're going to check the fuel. We did have enough for the lunch high flight apparently, but yeah, we probably didn't plan enough extra fuel, let's be honest. So put extra in. Let's get our transponder onto standby mode. Okay, North Apron, it seems like we're going to be going up there, guys. Not right to the end, because that's still commercial. There's a GA plane there. Yeah, so this is the area here. We're going to Echo Apron, I think that is. Auto ignition off. Auto further is off. Shield heat both are off. I think at this point we turn them all off, so we'll turn them back on when we go up back into the air and prop the ice as well. Recognition lights off. Strobe lights should come off as well. We should forget about those. Flaps are up. Transponder is required. So we're not going to be doing a full shutdown, and we'll do like a temporary shutdown. Let's go ahead and park here. Saving lives, one flight at a time. Oh yeah, right, parking brake is set. Let's go ahead and put this back into the alpha for the shutdown. Oh, then again, we're going to shut them down, aren't we? So transponder, we'll turn that back on when we come back alive. Avionics and things could come off, so we could turn IFIS power off. Avionics master. Those are the keys before engine shut down. Likewise, taxi, we leave the navs. We'll leave the tail flood and the beacon. Let's just get the air conditioning off. All the air coming out. Again, sound effects are provided. One of the few things you would expect from payware nowadays, but for some reason X-Plane payware has gone downhill since X-Plane 11, it seems. I never even used X-Plane 11, but judging the amount of planes that are available for it, I might be better off getting it. Seriously. Okay, fuel cut off. Listen to the sound of these engines as they close down. Absolutely glorious. Let's head off. We can't open the window. Generators. Let's get GPU power. Quick check of the power. We'll keep that an external for when it's connected. We need to get off a sec and just do a little pause while we pick up these other passengers. We'll leave the battery on because we've got GPU coming to us. Okay, so we're more concerned about the state of the plane. The chocks are a little bit misaligned on this. Very, very nice. Let's get the beacon off. Very, very nice looking plane. And the pilots will only spawn in. I think that's specific to the Evo mod, but I may be mistaken. But they only spawn in when the door is open or the battery's on, for example. I think it's a battery, actually, which will spawn them in. Anyway, guys, we need to do a quick stop here because our mission was to pick up two... first of all, a specialist doctor for the patient in Wick, and I think we have like one extra person on board who's overseeing it. That's going off, isn't it? So let's go here onto weight and balance. This is a little bit easier to use. And by the way, another thing about the Evo mod is it will actually distribute the weight correctly. So a lot of add-ons that you pay for will not distribute it into the iOS properly, and it will be all over the place. Now that's one of the basics that you shouldn't be getting wrong. This free modification does it right, so as you can see, 150, and it's put it in there correctly. Fuel wise, we have 980, reserve fuel 226, 27 for taxi and stuff. So we have actually burned quite a lot, but we've still got enough for the trip. Ah, that's reserve. I mean, I don't wonder why it's saying 981 though, because there's not 981 on there. Fuel loading is 984, but again, that could be incorrect. Passengers, let's add Let's have them there. And they're going to be probably 75 as well. That's sort of like a good average weight for people. So when we get there, the only person left to pick up would be the person at Wick who's in need of transferring to Aberdeen. We're going to be loading up some more baggage as well, which is the specialist equipment. So that's quite heavy too. So the patient here is going to take up 2 seats, which means we should let's put that guy there actually, so it's a bit more distributed. And then when the guy comes, he can distribute his weight over these 2 seats because he'll be laying down. Anyway guys, I do need to get a quick drink, so I'll be back in a minute and then we'll continue on to Wick. Okay, just enough time there to pick up a quick drink from Vanessa's little cafe. They were very friendly. Landing fees here are expensive though. Yeah, Gamma Aviation, when they hired me out, never mentioned anything about paying my own landing fees, so that was a bit of a bummer. But that's just the pilot life, I guess. Right, we're going to continue on, so let's bring up the map again. So you can see here we've gone to Inverness. We've got a course to 29 to Wick Airport, and we are going to be tracking the Wick VOR there for 113.6. That's all we need to do. We don't need to refuel as expected. Let's get on with it. Let's get on cracking on, and hopefully, maybe if we're lucky, some ATC will come on. But this is our flight plan so far. That wasn't too bad, to be fair, on the approach. As you see, very sort of smooth around here, and then straight in. Weather's looking clear on the X-plane map, but I'm not too sure. You know, wind-wise, if you look at this one, it is still quite considerable conditions. All the tailwind though up to Wick, and then we have that nice sort of crosswind, headwind coming back down. Brilliant. Alright, let's get on. Let's just check our DC load. So connected to ground power. Battery should be charging. We'll let that charge a little bit longer. We'll get the systems back on. So let's go from left to right this time. Transfers. Inverter should come off as well. Just make sure everything's ready for the engine start. Everything's looking good. Let's get the beacons on. We are going to be having cabin lights today, obviously because there's people on board, but we don't turn them on until the lights, to the engine started. The same as the air condition, we leave that off until the engines are alive. IFS power down here, again we don't need it on rudder boost, we can turn off and then sort of reset it. So yeah, we'll be flying a little bit higher for this one, guys. We're going to be up to 13,000 feet. And then on the way back we'll be a little bit lower, so probably about 9,000 again. Cool. GPU could be disconnected. Let's disconnect and go for a right engine start. Clear prop. Low idle. Heard a boom then. I hope that wasn't the combustion chamber giving out. Okay, propellers full forward at 50%. Everything's looking good. We've got no hot start on the right side. The TT is good. The torque, the TTP. So that's a good way to remember it. The turbine, the torque, and the prop. Or even the turbine from the other way. Actually, the turbine, the torque, and the prop works either way, doesn't it? Cool. So that's on. Let's go ahead and turn the ignition off. Let's go to a left start. So can I get a clear prop? There she goes, she's starting up, a little bit slow on the left, prop full forward, headset coming on. Yeah, very good actually, no issues at all there. I'm wondering if there's, maybe we are supposed to have. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing, I'm meant to be looking up here, aren't I? Yeah, no hot starts on there, even though we were starting a warm engine. Very, very reassuring. So let's just do our sweep of the panel one more time. Let's get our reset and then on, and then same there, and then we do it again. Inverters, we can do the manual close here, you know, check the instruments and then do it open, sorry, and then do it close. We can do a test and then reset. Auto ignition off. Inverter is on. Avionics master power on. Transfer pumps off. Let's just open the cross feed till we taxi. What's it for? Do we have that armed on takeoff or is it taxi? Anyway, anti-ice because we don't want debris going into the engines. I'm going to put the window heat on now. Taxi lights on. Okay, we got an engine shut down on the right side. Wonder if it's because they've not got enough fuel going into it. Something's going on there. Let's reset our gens again. Yeah, something going wrong there. Let's turn the generators off. So, right one on and then reset. Probably because of the crossfeed, I'm thinking. So let's stick that in automatic. There we go. So DC load is distributed now. So something's going wrong there on the startup. Good morning, Jelmore. Welcome. I'm doing very well, my friend. We've got a mission here in Scotland. We're flying Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta, the Scottish Ambulance Service C90. I'm on a mission to get a patient from Wick now, and then we'll be transferring them back to Aberdeen, which is our departure today. Just doing the pre-flight, so let's go for cabin and co-pilot air. All the air is coming on for this departure today, and you'll be able to hear it hopefully. We have got defrost available. I don't want to miss anything here, so on there, and we need to track 113.6. You can use number 2 if you want, but I want it on the primary display. Avionics has gone off as well, so again there could be an issue there. IFIS, chipset, rudder boost, trim. There we go. Give that a second to log on to itself. We may also be a little bit too far to track it, and there's no window to appear. So let's get wind up. Ground speed might be more useful. Right. Have I forgot anything? Yes, so bleed air. Cabin lights too bright. Bar on, and no smoking, fasten seatbelt sign. Strap in, strap on. Right, it's a little bit complicated, so it is a very, very complicated plane. Apparently the most complicated plane in the world. It certainly feels very, very difficult to understand the systems. I know when it's on a sim and it look easier, than it is in real life. Just keep that in mind, everybody. So on a sim, you can usually fly it incorrectly and it will usually have no issues. We have got 113.6. Just double check that is in fact the frequency, because we don't want to go into the wrong place. 136 for Wick. We'll leave it on. We'll hope it'll pop up on there somewhere, and on there when we get into there. Okay, wind direction. We'll use the map here. And we're probably going to be, again, it's kind of pushing up north, but then changes directions there. So that's tailwind. So it looks like we're going back to runway 23. We'll taxi via this one here, and then we'll hold short runway 29 for runway 23. Let's get going. Of course, beta phase. I always forget that. What do I use to get the missions flight ideas? Well, for this one, we've been contracted out by Aviation, so on this occasion, this was a contract. And I went through at the beginning of the stream, so we contracted out. We gotta go initially from Aberdeen to Inverness, which is where we are, and then to Wick, and then back from Wick to Aberdeen. Full circle. Let's get our strobes, recognition lights. So the idea is just from a contract, really, and also in my imagination. But we do have a genuine patient to pick up. Okay, we've got to do runway 229, I think this is, and then we'll go up to runway 23 via Foxtrot. So Inverness traffic, Golf Sierra, Alpha Sierra, Delta. Taxiing Foxtrot, runway 29, then backtracking runway 23 for departure to the north. And we can say departure to the north today, since we're, we are flying a combination of VFR and IFR conditions. So we've done VFR, we did a VFR landing, just a visual landing. We've done a little bit of VOR tracking, and we've done a little bit of the ILS, but we didn't actually use the ILS in the end, so yeah. And this is also pretty standard for Inverness, so you would in fact track runway 29 down to Foxtrot 1, and then you would go runway 23. Cool, let's go to the, if we could do that a quick way, so go up here to X chat list. No, can't bring up a specific page, unfortunately. We need the before takeoff to make sure I've got everything switched on. Runway threshold, so auto ignition, auto further to armed, auto ignition to on. Cabin altitude, we planned altitude, so 9,000, 13,000 feet plus 500, 13,500. We're going to set that on the altitude as well, so we set pre-select. Can't do half a 500 feet there, so it looks like 13,000. Altitude select. Heading mode, we're going to do that to the runway. We will probably have to backtrack actually, because we've got not enough room here. Altimeter is set. Autopilot cleared out. Stall warning heat is coming on. Let's set the fuel vent heat on as well. Windshield heat is on. Taxi landing lights. Everything is good on this side. The fuel thing is on automatic. Avionics on. Air conditioning systems on. Lights are on. Transponder to altitude. Okay, that's all checked. The prop sync. Yeah, so I've got to remember this one. This is where I'm getting confused, because it's different in various King Airs, but this one's saying prop sync on in the air, so we'll leave that on, and the same as your damper, and we'll climb out again about 118 knots. We'll add a couple on, so about 121. Let's get depart now. Wick, final destination, well, second to last destination after we picked up this patient. I have no idea, just how severe the condition is. Let's hope it's a good one. Hopefully stable enough to fly. Inverness traffic, Golf Sierra, Alpha Sierra Delta, backtracking runway 23 for departure to the north. Okay, let's backtrack just slightly off to the centre line. This thing, again, not picking up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the head into the runway. I'm going to set the course to the one that's been given to us on Sky Vector. In the Sky Vector it says 029 for the course. Let's set that. There we go. So northbound for Wick Airport. Yeah, there's just the sound effects are brilliant. You got the air conditioning sound effects, you got the wind, you've got the engines, you got creaking of the seats. It's just absolutely glorious. And obviously the King Air 350 is a great plane, and that's by Air 4 Labs, and I will be doing more of it. But this is considerably lighter in workload, and it's almost like driving a car. I know it sounds strange, but it's like driving a car for me personally. It's not as bad on the handling, although it can be, as I say, temperamental, which it has been so far. Runway 23 is established. That cloud in front of us is the concern. If we have an engine failure, guys, before we take off, i.e. before liftoff, what we'll do is we will stick our brakes on, and then we will stop before the end of the runway, hopefully. If it's after takeoff, if we have an engine failure after takeoff, we'll pitch for blue line, we'll secure and you know, isolate and secure the engine, and make back for runway 23. If we have an engine failure, or if we can't make back for runway 23, we'll land straight ahead and we'll cut the fuel off and things, and we'll open the door and get out. Now fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Turbulence is the only concern on departure, and when we arrive we have low visibility to be concerned about as well. Right, pre-flight departure briefing complete. Double check our instruments, everything is looking good. The lights are on, engine anti-ice is on, cabin conditioning is on. Let's get this out of the beta, into the alpha mode, and we'll get those fully forward. Inverness traffic Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta taking off runway 23 to the north. Okay, takeoff torque is about set. There's 100 knots. And rotate. Oh yeah, a lot smoother here at Inverness. There's the positive right gear coming up. I'm going to pitch for the about 120. Just to be on the safe side, because we have got that headwind. And that rough weather, as you can see, is now moved into Inverness. So we're kind of lucky actually to get out of here in time. And that's what this weather up here is. It's you know, stormy, sort of snowstorms, rainstorms, all that sort of stuff, which we want to avoid. We're going to do that right and turn out to our course of 029 to Wick, and we'll continue climbing 13,000 feet. Right, after landing, after takeoff checklist, so yaw damper and the prop sync. Turn the lights off. Leave the recognition on until 10,000. Auto ignition could come off as well. Next traffic Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta departing out to the north, climbing flight level 135. Nice steep turnout. The aircraft is so capable of these kind of things that you know, this kind of flight, but it barely feels it. Anyway, if we go over here, something interesting you'll see on the climb is we keep the props full forward on this particular plane. On the 350, of course, you would reduce the propellers. And even on the Beach Baron, which is a twin piston. Right, let's set the head into the same direction as the course, and we'll continue climbing about this speed. So we'll do vertical speed mode, and we'll do heading mode and autopilot on. 62 nautical miles, everybody, so not too far to go. batteries are good. Let's get our prop de-ice on. It is Scotland after all, and it is January, guys. It's freezing out here. As we saw before, there was an ice build-up along the wing, and they've modelled that very well, actually, the de-icing feature. Props have we've got to be a little bit concerned about. Pitos are still winning heats around. Again, those pitos are right at the front, and it makes it look as if you got fangs coming out of the plane, so it's pretty cool. And as you can see there, the course is going to adjust. So if we turn it just about there, as the line sort of comes centre, that means you're going to be on track in that heading, so let's turn that direction. And based on the wind direction, we'll probably be facing towards the south when we land as well. At 70 degrees in the cabin, this is good. We need it to be semi-warm when we pick up the VIP, the patient, and we need to make sure it's in good condition. So 70 degrees is probably about right. We might even make it a little bit warmer for them. And also we've got the specialists on board and some equipment as well. Quite heavily loaded actually for the entire flight. Now we have got 120, so my calculation was probably not accounted for, you know, a lot of the flights. We're probably going to have to refuel in Wick. Yeah, plus we got this sort of... Apparently we got a lavatory seat on board and an aisle facing seat. That's the King Air one here. So that does say aisle facing seat on this, but it's also storage. And then aft baggage. Bizarre. If you add this baggage web, by the way, it will not count as baggage, it will just count it as payload. Either way, there's the ice formation again on the wipers. If you are a developer and you can't do freeware, an aircraft that you pay for better than a freeware aircraft, yeah, you know what I'm going to say, don't bother. Look at the ice in the snow formation, Jesus. Let's get that off, single de-ice. There we go. Let's see if we can break it off with the wipers. Nah, it's not going to work, is it? Let's get the windshield heat on high. Let's see if that helps. Holy smokes, look at that ice on the wheels. And the engines. Down here. There. That's so cool, isn't it? That's incredible. I'm so glad that's in there. That's a great feature. Anyway, if we selected altitude select, we have. So 30,000 feet, we have 3,000 feet to go. Let's go ahead and get that channel spec out for the cruise. So cruise. I don't really have the auto feather off. We may as well turn it off now actually. Propellers, so minimum 1600. I like to have it between 1650 and 1700. And we'll adjust everything as required. But yeah, that ice, guys, as I say, freeware aircraft do it so much better, it seems, than payware, and I still don't understand why the X-Plane 12 market doesn't have as many planes as X-Plane 11. You know, it's the newest game, it's still got a pretty big user base. By the way, Jelmo, thank you for stopping by. Good to see you here, man. 8,000 feet to go. We're the only person up in Scotland, in this sort of part of Scotland at the moment. We have in fact flown into considerable clouds according to the weather. So it is clouds here. We're going to be worried about those cold clouds and things. It's considerably worse over at Ireland though, if you were down there or even in Glasgow. So yeah, no wonder the guy's had an accident and he's transferring. Good question. I don't think there is any way to do it. If we try the boot de-ice again, so we do a single surface de-ice, that'll do the wings. Let's try that one more time and see if it clears it. I guess on this there's no way to clear the nose ice or the sort of build up underneath those engine where the air inlet is. That's normal though. I don't think that will affect performance, and it is in fact a little bit more VFR now. We're kind of coming out of that crap weather, which is great. It looks so good though, this aircraft, guys, and I think I've put it in the description for the link for the aircraft and for the livery if you want to try it out. Anyway, 13,000, let's go ahead and reduce our power a little bit, so reduce that down and reduce the propellers down to 1650. We'll keep it as it is, and remember when you change the props, you don't change the angle of the blade usually. You have good ground heat off. Again, we don't need the GPS. There is a way to switch it out, so if you select GTN, you can in fact put the GTN in there if you want to, or the GNS, which is the only one I have at the moment. Sort of in the eye of the storm at the moment. Let's just increase a little bit, so we don't actually have that far to go. 30 nautical miles. There's nothing, is it, in the King Air? I'm at work. Oh man, Gelmo, you need to get on the simulator. Have you pulled on the side of the mine monitor? I'm doing some coding work. Nice. Keeping up to date with the sim, man. I do like that. If you want as well, I don't know if you were here, or maybe you were here for the other flight on Monday in the Citation X. They're going to be grouped. The opportunity from now on to fly with Grunt from corporate. So if you want to join in, and you want to join in with live, and you are available, you're more than welcome to. I.e., you can get in a plane yourself and follow me en route. I would love to introduce this like Scottish ambulance service mission a bit more to the channel. That's kind of what my intention is the reason I got the liveries to do specific missions. Now we did have an option for the helicopter, but I'm not a helicopter pilot. I have no idea how to fly them, and I have 0 hours, really, pretty much nearly 0 hours in them. So anyway, this is a real aircraft, Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta. This is actually the aircraft that the ambulance service in Scotland, Scottish Ambulance Service, use, and they're obviously contracted out to Gamma Aviation, which is the company who's contracted me today to do this mission. But yeah, I want to do some more focus flights like this. It'll have to be in Scotland. It doesn't have to be in Scotland, but it can be. I'd like it to be here, and we'll depart from Aberdeen, future flights, and we'll do some short missions like this again, where we go to different airports and drop off passengers and pick up patients, etc. And get the you know, medical staff, and then we drop them back off at Aberdeen. When they go to Aberdeen, they'll probably be transferred, as I say, to the Aberdeen Royal via ambulance. Not too far now from Wick. We probably do need to descend. Actually, there's Wick. We're very close. We have 20 nautical miles. Now, I don't know if we've got... Yeah, it's literally right there, guys. So let's get descending. Descent checklist will be, for the time being, just reducing our power. And we're going to go down to about 5,000 feet. 4,000 feet initially. 1,200 feet a minute. Only 9 AM. Blimey, Jelmo, where are you? Are you in South America by any chance? 9 PM to 2 AM. Okay, cool. We did a flight actually in this plane last week to Fairbanks in Alaska, and that was pretty late at night, so I could always arrange one for the evening if you want to join in. Midnight med-flight helicopters. Yeah, so actually guys, one of the cool things about this plane is not only did they have the Sierra Delta Scottish Ambulance Service livery, but I also found one for Life Flight. And Life Flight does operate these kind of aircraft as well, and they operate in places like Canada and the US. So that'd be cool to do a Life Flight one as well. But yeah, Jelmo, I would be more than happy to arrange a flight in the evening where, you know, if you want to join, where you want to join, and then we can get that done together if you want. Right, we're not descending here. What's going on with the aircraft? Vertical speed. So judging by the wind, we're going to use... we haven't really got... We've got a ground speed indication, but the wind thing on this sometimes is a little bit hit and miss. So it's giving us 23 in that direction, which means that will help us base our runway landing as well. Now when we get to the DME, which is about 9.4, it's going to switch directions. Remember guys, what was it for Aberdeen again? 1143, so that's on this side. Let's keep that there. We'll follow that back to Aberdeen on the way there. But yeah, when we get there, we'll wait for it to flip, and then we'll circle over the airport and see what the situation is with the weather, and that should give us a better idea of the runway as well. So judging by the map, we're going to have a crosswind on landing. In that case, we're going to come in not from the water side, we're coming from the land side, and then that should be a little bit more to the nose rather than the tailwind. Cool. Yeah, the trip fuel up planned 280 for the hour, which was the average fuel burn, but I didn't take into account icing conditions, which was not expected actually, so it's just the altitude that's causing it. But in general, we've burned considerably more fuel than I was expecting. We've got about 77 kg left. This thing says it does have the fuel, but when you look at totals, the total is incorrect. and then reserve fuel. I think this is just like the assigned amount. So yeah, the totals is not the 984, the total is... It's so confusing, it's like the total is the combination of whatever that is together in the nacelle. If we check down here, we are in the yellow zone, so we do need to get the refueling done. Nacelle's about the same as well. Cool everybody, so keep your eye out for the plane, the airport. Let's get our landing lights on. Should heat to normal. Let's just keep doing that surface de-ice as well. Okay, we've gone past the airports, the arrows changed directions, we're going to turn on the outbound course now. We would have charts available if you want to use those for this kind of thing. We're going to be doing off this this little map, so as you can see, outbound course, and this is kind of like one of the approaches anyway, so you would fly inbound and then outbound, and then back round to the runway. Runway 23, I think it is. Nah, it can't be 23. Charlie. H998. Just need the airport chart for this one. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a runway 13. The arrival, and we'll come down, and then we'll come and park down here. So we have emergency exit roads, which is probably where the ambulance is coming. So we'll go on the main apron. There's no need to go to the hangars at this one. Anyway, runway 13 it is. So we set the course to runway 13. As I say, we're heading the opposite direction to it. I'll do that U-turn in a sec. We're about 8 nautical miles out. Live in the US, live on Tennessee, Alabama. Oh, cool. State line on the Alabama side, and work from home. Jump on the during the day if I have a lighter workload. You won't miss me. Ah, that's pretty good. So yeah, again, just let me know if you have like a specific day, and I'm more than happy to cater. Right, so it's this sort of dark orange line we need for the runway. It's not quite pointing in the right direction, but we use that as a reference. We're just trying to get down to about 4,000. I'm going to go down to 3,000 feet instead, and we'll do that U-turn using the autopilot. So, checklist. Double check the prop sync comes off for this. Auto feather is armed. Prop sync does come off, and auto ignition to come to armed as well. So this is for the approach. Landing lights are on. Yeah, you can hear the wind. Let's just see if the ice is melted off this aircraft. That's a damn cool plane. Yes, it has melted. It's still 0 degrees. So let's go ahead. We'll slow down now to probably 180, and we'll get prepared for the approach. Remember, 13 is the arrival runway. This is pointing towards the Wick DME, but we put the course there for the runway. And if we go on here, we should be able to get the actual course for it. So it will usually say, yeah, so 128. Is that correct? .128 on the course. Everybody, eyes out for the airport. We are turning back now. I keep going back onto this one because I'm thinking maybe we could use an ILS, but there's none available. Approach flaps down. Traffic. Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta is inbound for landing runway 13. Okay, mixtures are fully rich, propellers fully forward. Hoping we see some runway lights. There they are, the runway lights just off to our left. Let's get a bit more on course here. We'll keep our speed about 160. Generator power is good, left and right. We've got no external, no issues there on the power. Seatbelt sign's a bit on the tie time. Cabin air, fuel flow is good, pumps are on. Prop sync is off. And also Freeware is on as well. Door damper coming off. I'm going to take control of the aircraft in a second. We'll go around height, we'll be 3,000 feet. I have control. Oh yeah, 100% Gel Moore. And speaking about that, actually, on it may have been the last line, the Citation X, about the massive improvements to the GA planes. The pipe pickup is brilliant. Even the Citation X, you know, it's not the typical GA plane, but it is still GA. They've made improvements to that. Their Beechcraft Baron is absolutely excellent. It's superb, and with the Reality expansion pack, which I've recently just got, it really is, for me personally, the most realistic twin piston you can fly, and it's a great plane. It's probably one of my favourites. Anyway, let's reduce our power to about, as you can see on there, the number 4. We don't need to be too concerned about ITT on landing, although we might have an engine fire which could rise it. Let's get our gear down within 5 miles. And there's the rain, guys, so let's set the window wipers on. But yeah, massive improvements by Laminar Gel Moore. I 100% agree with you, and I hope they continue to update the Baron and continue to update the other aircraft. And as I say, this aircraft was really bad quality, but the Evo mod, if you go back and watch my short sort of Evo video, talks about, you know, Laminar bringing these old aircraft, and they had so many choices. They could have made so many planes, but they brought this back from like X-Plane 9. But if they use this going forward, the Evo mod, with the actual plane, they could make it really, really good. Like, really good, superb. They could make it payware level aircraft. But it just depends on how much effort they want to put into it. Okay, let's go for full flaps. We're kind of looking a bit high here. I'm cautious of the wind. It's a strong crosswind, about 17 knots. You see down here, or see on the instruments, there's 17, 18 knots gusting in for the right hand side. In fact, that gusting crosswind there will increase our lift, so we need to reduce our power a little bit. General aviation, 100% the way to go on flight simming, 100%. The airliners, if you want to sit there for several hours watching a computer, on a computer, letting a computer fly a plane, then great, but I've started to realise that it's, you know, it's quite a boring thing, and airliners are just computer operated, so GA is where the fun's at. These kind of planes, you know, they don't do automatic landings, they don't have sophisticated autopilots, they have very basic systems. I know it's advanced, but still very basic compared to things like the 777 or a 737. Anyway, final, let's give them a call. So, Wick traffic, Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta is short final, runway 13. Not as bad as my previous landing. Good.
100.
100 feet, going to continue, no minimums on this one.
50. 10.
Okay, a bit of a hard touchdown. Okay, let's get a start. Let's get a beta on. Well, what a touchdown. We didn't watch the replay at the airport, but I think we should watch that. That was not too bad, to be fair. Taxi lights, landing lights. Let's get clear of the runway before we bother with that. And where did we say? We got a few hangars here actually. For our mission today, we're going to pick up this patient now, so we will emergency access road. I think it's over here somewhere, so we'll have to go down to, yeah, heli. So the helipad there is probably because people get brought to this airport via the emergency road and then they get extracted via the helicopter, and that will be emergency services. So we're going to take, if it's available, the helipad 1, and we'll park in that area because that's where we would get the patient on board. Strobes coming off, recognition lights coming off. Helipad is clear for Scottish Ambulance Service. We are in fact taking up the space for the actual helicopter, so we're not going to park directly on it, guys. We're going to park next to it, of course. That'll do. It looks like it's a dead end there. Let's do a quick U-turn. There we go. Circuit brake is set. Just do a quick shutdown. So take those out of beta for the shutdown. Takes lights off. We'll leave everything on except for the beacon. That can come off. Anti-ice. P2s and fuels and props. Undo heat. Get a GPU cord. We won't connect it via the button just yet. Avionics, IFS system, rudder boost, rudder trim, air conditioning off, lead air valves off. GPU's connected, brilliant. We're going to leave it in standby mode, so beacon's coming off. Let's go ahead and get this patient, everybody. As I said, we've already got the specialist on board, and we're going to need to refuel here as well. So calculations initially didn't account for the weather. Well, they kind of did, but they also didn't. We generally did need more than I expected. So here we are at Wick. It's actually a pretty nice airport, Wick, and I've done a few circuits here. Aside from the rough weather, the airport has some nice views in the area. Right, let's go ahead and hold here. We're going to bring up the weight and balance. So, again, it's in 981. I think we can change that. Yeah, so we change that there. And we put our reserves in there, for example. So, if I go back into the calculations we did earlier, you guys won't be able to see it this time. It was 750 total, and I did put about 280 reserve in there. That's 280 kg, so we've actually burned through the majority of it, and we have 47 left. So we burned 230 roughly. So for the trip back, we don't need that much, guys. So let's do fuel for start, taxi and takeoff. We'll do 40 in there. Sorry, 20. 5. That's for the. I'm going to put the climb out fuel in there as well. The reserve fuel will be 280 kg an hour. Let's bring up the notepad so you understand what I'm saying. So because this burns an average of 280 an hour, and you can double check that on the. How do we get off there? The chat list. So if you go back to the beginning, it does include some very useful references. It doesn't include performance charts, but it includes the reference, and it says, if we can get there, there's got to be an easy way to do it than that, isn't there? Oh, come on. Right, so here we have some limitations as well, like max crosswind, so we were sort of in the limitations there, but kind of pushing it a little bit as we came down. Here it is. Right, this is important. So because this is gas turbine, it will use Jet A fuel. Jet A1 is suitable, Jet B as well. These are really cool, just great effort actually by these people, pilots, developers who have contributed to this project. It really is outstanding. Baggage capacity 159, so what are we rocking at the moment on baggage? So 68, we probably do need to increase that for the medical supplies. But here, 280 kilograms fuel burn per hour average. So we're going to take 280 an hour. And we're going to take our reserve. So we only need half of that, which would be 140 kilograms for 1 hour's worth of fuel. Excuse me, for 30 minutes reserve fuel VFR conditions. If we're going to take 45, it would be more than that. So you'd add, you know, 70 kg on there, which would be about 210. So we'll take 210 kilograms plus taxi fuel of about 25.9, which is already in the tanks, and that gives us our total fuel. I'm going to use a calculator, guys, so I'm absolutely 100% correct on this. So 210. Look at it, 235.9. So let's add these up to that. About there is fine, and then if we look at our total fuel, so increase that actually a little bit more. So there we go, 240 total, and that's reserve fuel 47. We actually have planned for more reserve fuel than that I was expecting, but it'll still work out. So yeah. Cool, so fuel is done. Let's get the patient on board. He's going to take up 2 speeds, so it'll be 75 again. Just we can round it up because he's going to have medical equipment on him, so we'll say 40 kg in each one. About that's not his actual weight because he's got other things on him. He's going to take up some space. We're going to imagine that he's stretched across these 2 seats, plus we're going to have some more baggage on board in the back there, a lot of medical supplies, and here we've got some extra supplies as well. So are we within our maximum takeoff weight? Yes, we are. I think maximum ramp weight and takeoff weight is absolutely suitable for the flight. We've got 240 kg on board, and if we cross check that with the iOS from X-Plane, we have 240. Right, we're sorted, guys. We have them loaded up. Enjoying the Baron REP. The only thing I can never get the cruise speed to match that. Yes, I'm really glad you mentioned that, Gelmore. I again joined my live stream of the REP, and I joined my video review of it. I pointed out that you can't fly by the numbers because the numbers are incorrect. So Usually with a plane you can fly by the numbers, and that's the whole point of having them, you know, to get it close to it. But you can't on the Baron because the numbers are incorrect, and I think they've put the numbers for the turbocharged version, which is, for me, the guy who made that REP, I know this sounds offensive, but he clearly is not, he's clearly got no idea what he's doing. A lot of the checklist items are incorrect, a lot of them are downright dangerous. He's got the checklist items in the wrong order, he's got emergency checklist which have dangerous suggestions, he's got the, you know, the cruise performance sets power, whatever, he's got it all wrong. It's a lot of it is incorrect. The only things that I think are the strong points are the wear and tear system, the, you know, the handling's improved and the sounds, but that's it really. Personally, the default Baron is great, you know, that's all you need. If you want actual performance charts of the Baron, then my recommendation is don't get the REP, just go and get the real ones from wherever you can get them from. I got a real checklist here at home, so that includes some performance factors. But yeah, the one on the REP is completely wrong, everybody, for the majority of the time, and I think it's for a turbocharged twin piston, which is why the numbers are so incorrect. Right, here we go. We're in the cockpits, and by the way, the turbo, it's not turbocharged on. Explain, the one we're in now is a gas turbine engine, so it's kind of a different ball game. Beacon on ground power is on. No avionics master. The engine anti-ice is coming on. Don't need window heat. In fact, we don't need anything on. We're pretty much ready to go straight away. So door is closed. Let's go for a right engine start. We'll just check the fuel level. Fuel levels are good. Okay, engine is a bit slow today. Maybe that colder condition is affecting the performance, so it's starting up differently. Low idle on the fuel. Okay, let's abort the engine start up. Something is going wrong, isn't it? Let's wait a little bit longer this time. There you go, seems to be coming alive. Maybe because we refueled, so you had to pump it around the system a little bit before it got to the engine. Very, very realistic. And of course props fall forward. Okay, engine number right side is started. We'll leave those off until the left one is started. Left side coming alive. Ground idle on the props. There she goes. Prop full forward. Auto ignition off. Headset coming back on, and we'll do the generator thing again. So reset. Hold that for a second, guys. Reset. Reset, and then on. Reset, and on again. Open. Close. Test. Reset. Should obviously check the enunciations as well. You shouldn't just turn them on and off. Okay, so auto 30 armed. Avionics and inverters and avionics on. Let's get the window heat onto normal. Want it to get it nice and warm before we take off. Taxi lights high fist power, rudder boost and elevated trim. And this one, return trip, we're not going to be going up to the same altitude. That was just a high one for that one. We are in fact going to be cruising again, probably about 9,000 feet, because the patient is vulnerable, and we're going to be below at or below 200 knots because we're going to keep them in good condition. As you can see here, so the generators are not powering on the left side. That means we just need to do a quick cycle down here. So if we turn them off again, let's get the disconnect the power. I forgot about that. And as you can see, it's worked again, and it's distributing that load now between both engines. And the cross flow here, so if you open it and then close it, that can sometimes help. Sometimes you can turn this on, you know, fuel boost pump off and then back on, and that will also help. Sometimes it doesn't help, but sometimes it does. Wonder why that's illuminating. I'll leave it on automatic, and then we'll get going. Right, let's taxi to runway 13 again. Wind conditions, I'm going to use the X-plane map again. So similar conditions, we'll have to backtrack runway 13, and that kind of gives us a headwind. We have got an NDB there. We're at Wick on here, so we need to tune into Aberdeen, which will be the final destination. 114.3. So we select there, we should be able to track it. If we put it into number 1 over here, so 114.3. We'll be able to track it down there as well when we get on track. So let's get going. We're going to be climbing straight to 9,000. Any issues, of course, before takeoff, we'll abort and stop. And then if it's after takeoff, we'll continue, circle back if we can. If not, we'll have to land ahead and pray to God we don't die. So let's make sure the flaps are up. Let's get this thing in beta. Parking brake released. And just a taxi brief, everybody, so it will be backed by this one and then 13 for the backtrack. Definitely, if you want to give it a try, Gelmore, go into the description. I think I've put the aircraft mod there and the livery as well. So you can fly Scottish Ambulance Service now. Today we're doing Gamma, contracted out to Gamma Aviation for Scottish Ambulance Service. I don't actually work for them, I'm just contracted out on an hourly basis. Quite high pay as well, I have to say, at my rates. Right, strobes are coming on for the taxi. I'm going to put the stalls, impetos and fuel vent heat on. Let's just check the cabin conditioning is on. No, it's not. Transponder to altitude. Okay, we're going to put the black vent blower on high today because the onboard people are very sensitive. Let's close that and give them some privacy. Any issues, me and the co-pilot will deal with it. Wick will be the return, but we really do need to get to Aberdeen, preferably within the next 30 to 40 minutes. We should be able to do that with no issues. Wick traffic, Golf Sierra, Alpha Sierra Delta, just backtracking runway 13 departures to the southeast. Heading mode selected. I'm going to do altitude select as well, and then we'll do vertical speed when we're in the air. So let's pre-select vertical speed. In fact, we can do it on the ground on this, which is great. So we're going to set a very smooth climb out of about 1,200 feet. And we're not going to be using our reference speed today, so we'll climb initially probably about 118, and then when we get to 1,000 feet, we're going to slow down and climb at about 1200 feet a minute, and whatever speed that gives us we will adjust the power settings for. Trim is neutralised, set for takeoff. Let's go for 20 degrees flaps so the takeoff is a little bit smoother for us. We have still got considerable winds, and again got that storm sort of weather moving up from the south, sort of covering where we need to be flying to. It's going to be rough when we get to Aberdeen. It wasn't that bad when we set off, and hopefully we're not going to crash. Let's do a U-turn. Runway 13 established. Pre-departure briefing complete. Transponder on, landing lights on. Fix lights off. Recognition lights on. Conditioning and seatbelt signs all good. Okay, we're ready to go back there. If you want to just buckle up, make sure everything's secure. Let's kick this thing out of the beta mode and into the alpha. Let's get going. Wake traffic goes Alpha Sierra Delta, taking off runway 13, departure to the southeast. Okay, keep that torque within manageable levels. There's 80. Hold it steady. Slowly rotate. Here, coming up. Let's retract our flaps. We're going a little bit slower departure. We have got full power. Aircraft is struggling a little bit. Probably because we didn't have auto ignition on. Yaw damper, and we're going to continue climbing about 1200 feet minutes. Let's get the autopilot on and just let the aircraft stabilise itself. After takeoff checklist, so prop sync, yaw damper is on, landing lights coming off. We'll leave the recognition on until 10,000 and we'll continue on at this about this speed. We'll just bring that tool back a little bit as we make our departure there to the south east. Those watching airplane live airline videos, every time the plane takes off, it's like go to the moon ball. That's very sweet. Hey, who knows? In the future, you may be able to do a bit of the old co-op with him. You know, a bit of co-pilot, captain action, and fly a few missions. Right, we are in fact intercepting the Aberdeen. We've got 70 nautical miles. We're only climbing at a very slow rate today to account for the precious cargo we got on the back there. So let's go ahead and start our course to the correct course, and we're going to follow that all the way there, as you can see, to Aberdeen Airport. Final destination for this flight today in this mission. When they get there, I believe the plan is for the transfer via ambulance to Aberdeen Royal, and then our job is complete, and I'll go through the sort of pay and things that I'll be getting paid for this mission afterwards, and it will be on a per leg basis, which means every single flight we've done today, initially from Aberdeen to Inverness, that will be paid separately. From Inverness to Wick is separate, and from Wick to Aberdeen is separate. The reason is if there was an issue in between those legs, obviously they would have to get another pilot, so that's why they don't pay me for the whole thing at once. They pay me on a per leg basis, per completion basis basically. So yeah, if we couldn't do this last trip, for example, where because something happened during the flight and we had to go away somewhere, they would hire another pilot and I would lose the money. It sounds very convoluted, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? Right, we're going up to 3,000, about 180. Have we got the flaps up? Yes, we have. Air conditioning is looking good, so we're getting about 80 degrees in there. That's what we needed at 75 to 80 to keep the people nice and warm, and we can in fact convert that. So yeah, we can convert it somehow using an online calculator. Online converter, not calculator. We'll just see the Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Who would have thought would have to look this up? So we're on about 75. So it's about 23 Celsius. So it is very, very cozy back there. And again, once again, Skyvex is providing a really, really cool route. The actual route itself looks like a triangle on the map. And it's a really, really nice one to fly, even if you're not doing it mission specific. It provides a lot of fun. We've got some sort of northeast moving winds. They've got that rough weather over Aberdeen, which is sort of moving again east, and then we've got a huge storm moving over the west of Scotland. In fact, we've got a massive storm moving over the Atlantic and moving over to the north and west of Scotland. Absolutely insane. That's going to hit the England tonight, and then yeah, thank God we got the mission done early. Cool pressurization, so 9,000 feet, we probably don't need to worry about pressurization too much. Differential pressures in the green. Pneumatic pressure here is good, oxygen control is full. Standard pressure in case there's any traffic in the area. We're on the same thing. And I think it was 2-3 for departure from Aberdeen, but with the wind direction, yeah, probably going to be the opposite direction. So we departed 16. We're better off landing on runway 34, and I don't know if people land there or not. X-Plane never seems to say take off from runway 34, but judging by the weather and those cold fronts and clouds, it looks like we are better off coming. So we'll go to the VOR, and then we'll do a circle over the airport, circle back round for runway 23, and that'll give us not runway 23, runway 16, and that gives us the best wind direction from that angle. Yeah, true, Gelmore. I've been looking at so many YouTubers who have these massive flight sim setups. They're so cool, man. They're so cool. Like these big cockpits at home, and they have the co-pilot seat and everything. Absolutely brilliant. It must cost them thousands of dollars, especially if you are American. It's going to cost more, isn't it? Because it's just more expensive over there, isn't it? But in the UK, it's still very pricey. The only way you can build a home cockpit nowadays is if you go to Eastern Europe. You get all the parts second hand, and then build it for a discount. You got some ice formation out there. Let's see if the ice light's on so we got a better view, but yeah, it is building up. Let's get the surface the ice on. Otherwise our performance is going to be affected. There we go. got ice on this plane or not. That's great, honestly. No other plane does it like this. This is brilliant. Okay, so we keep doing the boot de-ice, but I'm starting to think 9,000 feet is too high. Right, we're in the cruise now. Let's go ahead and do a cruise checklist. So we do the auto hover off. I'm going to bring those way back now on the props. Probably. Whoa, we got a bit of an issue there. We may have ice on the props. Let's turn the ice on. Let's bring those way back to about 1700 if we can. Yeah, we got ice build up on the props. That's why it's dropping like that. About 1650. We're going to reduce that torque. Very, very frightening though. Severe weather. Holy shit! Look at that. Okay, we'll have to keep in mind this weather. I mean, we are going through some freezing clouds right now. Almost in the danger zone as well. So I'm starting to think we should divert a little bit this way. Our actual alternate airport, everybody, is Glasgow, but we haven't got enough fuel. We have got enough fuel, but we also haven't got enough clear weather at Glasgow. Even it's even worse up there. So we have to come sort of outbound, just slightly round this outside of this weather. The major concern for this flight is, of course, the icy conditions. Yeah, have a great day, John Moore. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you're enjoying the videos, and I hope everybody else is enjoying the stream and the videos too. Plenty more to come, and as I say, I want to introduce Golf Sierra, Alpha Sierra, Delta to the channel more, and do some more mission-focused flights in Scotland for the ambulance service, and give us a bit more of an income as well, rather than just chartering the private planes all the time. This gives us something to get paid for at least. As you can see, we're barely getting up to 200. We want to be around 200 for this flight. Let's have a look at the instrument approaches here at Aberdeen Ice. If you've got an ILS for runway 16, they have, so it's 1299. Let's go ahead and tune that in. Now, the reason we're going to do this is obviously zero visibility means instrument conditions, so we'll leave that in there as a backup if we can't see what we're doing. We'll get the approach start for the ILS for runway 16, which will probably be a straightened approach. So ILS DME, which is kind of what we're doing now. Tracking that DME. Oh, I cannot do with that on. Got to turn it off. Can't do with the yoke engine either. So get like a map overlay terrain as well, which is really, really cool. Chart Fox, by the way, it's completely free to use. There's no need to pay for charts. Everybody, they are free, available on the internet. So coming to 2,500 feet, got a very shallow glide path, which is ideal. The course of it's like 159. So we'll come straight in for the DME, which is kind of where we're heading, and then we'll continue past the DME of 114.3 down the ILS at 2,500 feet. So that sounds like a good plan, everybody. If you all fly this kind of approach, it's, you know, maximum 210 is easy for the King S. You can all do it. Also in the Echo Papa Hotel. Ooh, what's that? Maybe we're flying to RAF one day. Yes, Echo Papa Hotel. Let's check this out. We could do with Scottish Control online to give us vectors. Yeah, so we're nowhere near 80. We've got some poor guy flying around in Scotland. Granted, he's in the clear zone, but in a Piper 2.4 from Stornoway to Southend-on-Sea in a Piper 2.4. I mean, talk about ambitious guys. I don't think he'll have enough fuel to get him in one go. Yep, we're the only guys up here though. Pabbo Hotel, of course, is Edinburgh Airport. We could set Edinburgh as our alternate. Glasgow is completely fogged and clouded over. We've got zero chance of getting there with the amount of fuel on board. We have got enough to get to Echo Pabbo Hotel at Edinburgh. Holy smokes, look at the window ice. Oh my goodness, look at the wings. We're going to freeze over. Holy shit. Look at this. This is insane. We're supposed to be flying a rescue mission, but we're completely steamed up. Alright, let's get the window heat on high. Surface de-ice on. Even the propellers are completely icing up the front. Yeah, windshield completely iced up, you can't see anything. It's so cool though, the animations. When you de-ice the boots there, it kicks it off in like a snowstorm behind the aircraft. Absolutely incredible, and I didn't realise it was going to ice up this bad. This is literally the first time I'm experiencing this, but it's absolutely brilliant. To be fair, we didn't even have this in Alaska, so this is all new. Right, 27 nautical miles. We're going to have to start our descent, guys, for the ILS approach. So let's go down to 4,000 feet. Let's do vertical speed. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 1,200 feet a minute. And at least this will get us a little bit out of these icy clouds. Right, window ice is not, de-ice is not really doing much. Auto further to arms. Front sync will come off for the landing. Let's get our landing lights on. We're actually not too far away now, everybody, and then we'll tune the ILS when we get past it. So when this thing sort of flips directions, we can lock onto the localizer, but we most likely will be locked on before that point anyway. This aircraft is permitted, you know, VFR, IFR, and I'm pretty sure permitted in icing conditions. It has got anti-ice and boot ice in it. It's just incredible the amount of ice that's building up, even with the anti-ice on. And the temperature is only -6. Insane, but as I say, it's because of the clouds and all this weather. It's I wouldn't feel comfortable going any higher than 9,000 in this, to be honest. If we were at 23,000, we'd probably freeze to death and stall. You know, that's the realistic aircraft. Anyway, you can see here better visualization, so we're very, very close to the airport. We're going to go down to 2,500. In this case, it'll be 3,000. Raining a little bit as well, probably snow actually. So let's get our landing lights on, and text lights on. You know what I'm talking about, all those lights on, strobes, recognition lights, anti-ice are going to remain on high. Auto ignition to arms. Prop sync off. Yeah, brutal conditions. Usually we'd expect vectors here by this point. We've got to just assume we're going to be able to go straight in. So let's give them a call. Aberdeen Dice Airport, Golf Sierra Alpha Sierra Delta, descending out 2,500 feet for the RLS approach runway 23. Completely forgot the runway. Is it 23? Nope, runway 16. We'll give them a call out and final just to be clarified. I cannot see a thing. The anti-ice is on the windows, but I don't even know if it's working. It's so we go on here on descriptions. We have got it on high road. I don't get why it's not clearing it. Pray to God that that works. Pray to God we can actually see the runway, because at the moment the visibility is really, really poor. About 300 feet to go. Let's level off. We'll start to level off. We'll probably keep descending actually towards... Yeah, let's keep descending very, very slowly to 2,500. Wind is about 20 knots there, just coming in for the right hand side, so it's still pretty much a headwind. Windows clearing. Approach flaps are set. We should have visual of the runway soon. Hopefully we can see where it is. I think it's this little land bit over here, although again struggling to see it. Okay, mixtures are fully rich, props fully forward. Looks like the ice has in fact melted off of the propellers as well, and the wings, and the window is of course clearing up. Brilliant. So it's heated up now, it's 2 degrees outside, and I think 100% that's got to be the airport there. Slightly just ahead, we're going to switch to the ILS frequency, so let's go 193, and as you can see there's the ILS. Runway 16, let's tune that to the heading, so 16, and you can see it on there actually, the ADN for the Aberdeen Dice VOR, so we're just going to keep going a little bit more, probably about 5 nautical miles out. We'll make that right hand turn to the final. The seatbelt signs are on. The cabin is still pretty toasty. Let's just turn the temperature down ever so slightly, so that when we get out and open the doors it's not so much of a shock to our body. Guy on board, I hope he does well, I really do. I hope he's enjoyed the flight. I appreciate it's been bumpy, but we got him here safely at least. Let's just pray we have a safe landing. Okay, we got a runway over there just off to our left. That could be Aberdeen Dice. That's the only airport in the area. Yes. So runway 16. Course is selected. We're at about 5 nautical miles. We're going to start to engage that heading mode, navigation mode for the approach mode. So let's do a left on turn slide. Now we'll keep our speed on 164. Aberdeen nice traffic, Golf Sierra, Alpha Sierra Delta is now approaching final 10 knots to our ILS runway 16. On navigation mode for the approach, localizer is now flashing white, so it's prepared to engage it. When it turns green, it'll probably lock onto the glide slope at the same time. Approach mode armed. You see now the glide slope is flashing, so they should both illuminate about the same time on this approach. We have to intercept the glide slope, so this green arrow when it gets to the centre will probably make this GS illuminate green, and then we'll start descending towards the runway. Let's get our course corrected. So there we are, about 2,500 feet, and then 3, 2, there we go. So now locked onto glide slope, localizer runway 16. Gear coming down, flaps to full. Aberdeen nice traffic, Golf Sierra, Sierra Delta established, ILS runway 16, 5.5 knots to our final. Going to maintain these props and where they are, and double check everything is on, lights are on. We'll let the aircraft deal with it this time, and the instrument approach. .20 knot crosswind, almost. Fuel damper coming off. 1,000 feet to go till whatever we're going to. We haven't got a decision height today. Let's quickly set it. Now we're set about 202. We're a little bit off course, so I'm going to take control. I have control now. I'm going to do a little bit of a manual landing. Beautiful approach though over these hills, look at this. Gorgeous airports to fly into in Scotland, so much scenery to actually look at, so many amazing unique landscapes like this. The airport's sort of tucked away in this valley here, and you know, X-Wing 12 at night does look absolutely stunning. Right over the road here, right over someone's house. Little do they know that two pilots are about to achieve success on a successful mission. 500 feet, we got a little bit high here. There we go. Should be taking a left hand turn out. We're going back to Gamma Aviation for the drop off. We continue. Keep that right rudder in for the crosswind. A little bit of a crab. Let's keep the aircraft on track.
100.
Straighten out a bit.
50. 10.
Super bumpy. Oh, just about touched down. stick in beta. Oh, what a bumpy landing that was, guys. It was all over at the end there. That wind got the better of me. Right, so we're going to take the left-hand turn here and we'll go back to Gamma Aviation. Just over there somewhere, and we'll get the guy dropped off and hopefully wish him well for the future. So takes the landing lights on, off, takes the lights on. This is in fact another runway, so it's a little bit confusing here. They have so many runways crisscrossing each other at Aberdeen Dice that you're never really on a taxiway when you come here, so it's you're always on a runway somehow. So there's Gamma Aviation. We'll taxi down Echo and then Fox Echo and then Echo again, it seems. Let's do the after landing checklist. There's a little bit of run up zone there as well. All the anti-ice is coming off. Leave the engine anti-ice on. Text light, so recognition off, strobes off. Transponder to standby. Now we're going to turn the seatbelt signs off because we're on a different kind of mission, so people can in fact move around and get the patient ready for transport while we taxi to the terminal. Aberdeen Dice, traffic Golf Alpha Sierra Delta taxiing Gamma Aviation via Echo. It does look absolutely gorgeous at night. If you've been here before, you know I love night flights, and I want to do a night flight in this plane. Maybe not in Scotland, just because of the high terrain, so I'm not comfortable in this one at night, especially with the icing and the weather we've had lately. But in something like possibly in the Barren, I would love to try it here, and we could go from Wick, maybe all the way over to Glasgow or something. Right, there's Gamma Aviation. Unfortunately, there's no sign here, but that big grey sort of Orwellian building is in fact Gamma Aviation, and we're going to get our contract fulfilled, dropping the patient off, and we're going to get paid in full in cash. Okay, brake is set. Let's turn all the cabin air off. We don't need GPU because we're going to be doing a full shutdown here. Contract will be completed. I will not be flying anymore in this weather or this night. We've done a bit of combinations today, visual flight rules and instrument flight rules. We've done some VFR hand flying and visual approaches, and we've done some instrument approaches at the end there with the ILS. Let's turn those off. Lead air can come off the cabin, so I'm going to work the opposite way today, so we go from right to left. So stand by on those. We get the IFS power, rudder, and all that. Our flight director, we were already unpressurized. Ice lights, tail recognition lights. Auto further off. Engine anti-ice. Avionics inverter. Standby EFIS power to off. You can of course test that. If you don't turn that off and you leave it on, you'll notice that they give you GPWS callouts when you turn the battery off. Cool. Let's get the engine shut down. Beacons, navs, and let's turn the generators. Battery off. Right, welcome back to Aberdeen Dice. Really great airport. Highly recommend you flying here. I've been doing a Gamma Aviation mission today, and thank you so much for joining me. I've been forgetting to watch the replay, so forgive me. Let's go ahead and watch it, and I will tell you how much I've been paid for this flight in a sec. So, final approach runway 16. Landing, everybody. Not too bad. The sound effects are just excellent, aren't they? You could hear the real, the bumpiness of the tires, the suspension there as we touch down. There's just so many planes, like I say, they just don't do these things, and if they can't beat Freeware, why are they even bothering in the first place? It's beyond me. So today, for pay wise, from Wick up to from Aberdeen up to let me bring the window up. Blimey. Bring the initial contract up so you guys can see it again. Help if I had it open, wouldn't it? Right, you should be able to see the contract again. So, as we said at the beginning, this is what we touched on at the start. Gamma Aviation, dear Grantham, they acknowledged receipt of my documents and things. We picked up the C90. Unfortunately, they did not enclose the details for finance, but this was the contract I received in the confirmation. And then we dropped the plane back off at Gamma Aviation. So, in total, about £1,400 there earned over the course of that flight, which is not much at all, really, if you think about it. So, the reason we got £1,400 is because we got it split into different legs. So, from Aberdeen to Inverness, it was only £200. From Inverness up to Wick was actually £600, so it was quite a lot. And then the return trip, of course, makes up the rest of the money. So, yeah, about £800. Is the rest of the journey back to Aberdeen. So as you can see there, the price increases, the amount you get paid increases depending on the length of time you fly. And if you are looking at joining Grantham Corporate, we do these kind of flights, release our services out to things like Gamma, Scottish Ambulance Service and others in the future, mostly corporate though, corporate and private clients who we service. So if you do want to get involved, as I say, let me know. I'd love to see that. Thank you everybody, thank you for being here. Great plane, really great plane. A little bit temperamental on handling, but yeah, takes a little bit more practice than a Cessna, let's put it that way. Well done, you guys, for sticking around, and I will see you on Friday for a Air 4 Labs Cessna 172 full cold and dark review. Take care, I'll see you then.